Hello, everyone. Welcome to another ODNT Spotlight. My name is Steve DeWinter, your host, and I have with us today a wonderful steampunk aficionado. And he's doing some author stuff and everything within the steampunk genre that is also very cool, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff in steampunk. His name is Jonathan Fesmire, and he is bringing to us a sneak peek at a temporary cover for his upcoming novel, which is a steampunk zombie western, Bodacious Creed. That's also a bodacious name for a book. I love that.
Thank you.
Very awesome. So let's go ahead and switch on over and meet John. Hey, John, welcome to ODNT, where we shine the spotlight on you.
It's great to be here with you, Steve. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much for coming on. So tell us a little bit about Bodacious Creed. What is that about? A steampunk zombie western.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the name, and what's funny is that name just came to me one morning when I was waking up.
One of those misty morning ideas.
Exactly, and I had already been working on this idea, and I'll get into that in just a second. But then I thought that would be an awesome name for this project I'm working on, and for the main character. And so I'm like, somebody must have used that. So I looked up Bodacious Creed, and I'd seen it used, just as an expression, his Bodacious Creed, blah 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 blah.
Right.
But it wasn't the title of anything. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking it.
It always amazes me when I come up with something and I'm like, well, obviously somebody else has already used this, and it's not out there yet.
You're like, oh my god, I gotta grab this.
Mine!
Yeah, this is mine! I got it! So that's what that was. But so how it came about, I'm gonna try to make this brief, because I explain a lot of this on my website. And I think we've got a lot to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure you just yammer away.
Yeah. So I have a master's in animation and visual effects, because I also enjoy doing 3D art. So I thought I would end up doing that as a living, but it hasn't worked out. I'm so glad I did it. So when I got toward the second half of my studies, in the animation and visual effects department, a person's master's thesis is a demo reel.
Ah, okay.
And so as a 3D modeler and texturer, mine was going to be a 3D modeling demo reel. And we have this great class called pre-production, where you come up with your a backstory and decide based on that backstory what your demo reel is going to be. And so And I actually started off the blog that eventually became my current blog. So if you go to my website and click on old blog, you'll find that previous blog.
Oh, the previous blog. Okay.
Right.
And I've got the links to your website and everything down in the description below.
Okay, sounds good. So if you take the time to go through it, because in the old blog there are so many entries. But from the beginning, it starts off like, hey, I'm in this class. I'm going to write a blog on what I'm doing. I haven't planned it out yet.
Oh, you can
and
blog
so
about the class.
Yeah, you see me getting all the ideas and then going from there. And like several iterations of different women models that I thought would be good for Anna, who you've read about you're reading about in that
started
story.
Your,
until I settled on one, and it's pretty cool. So. But pretty early on, I decided I wanted to do steampunk western, and then my instructor Vince DeQuattro, he's done a lot of films. If anybody wants to look up his name, suggested that was good, but that I push it a little bit farther. And so I thought, well, what if the main character died? The gunslinger character dies, and he's brought back with steampunk technology.
Ooh.
And is a sort of a zombie, but he himself has after a little bit has all his faculties.
So he's still remembering and thinking.
So he's a little more of a good Frankenstein's monster type, but the zombie stuff will still be in there. I don't want to give anything away.
No spoilers. We're still a ways away from the book.
And I decided, on the young brothel madame character, and I created a steampunk, a coyote that has steampunk attachments and stuff.
Neat.
and he may or may not be in the book. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Right. I saw in your,
And I don't want to give that away
blog
either.
listings, you weren't sure if the coyote's going to stick around or not.
Yeah. So that was started. So I did the demo reel, and that took a couple years. I learned a lot more about modeling doing that. It's like when you write, anytime you write a novel, your first novel's the hardest, and you get better and better. So that became my demo reel, which I actually improved over the next couple of years too. And as I was working on it, also as a writer, I thought this would make a really cool book, I think. So
yeah.
It's 2015 now. So in 2013, I first wanted I made a Kickstarter for a chess set that I had come up with. I thought that there should be a chess set based on the Occupy movement.
Right, your Occupy chess.
Yes, and that failed spectacularly on Kickstarter.
We learned so much from our failures, though.
We do, and so I'm like, you know what? I should write that Audacious Creed book. I should see if anybody's interested in it, and if I do a Kickstarter, I can get people involved in it. So I'll talk about that in a second. And so I read a book, and I don't remember the exact title right now. It's a great book on doing Kickstarter right. And so I read that. I got really cool, and I calculated how much I would need to make in order to sell the books based on like the reward where the people the most percentage of what they paid would go to publishing the book.
Right.
Rather than over. And I was able to calculate out, okay, so the minimum I'm going to need is $2,000. Or and so that was the amount, and I think got some really cool rewards in there and shared it all over social media, and people loved the idea, and I got 71 backers.
Excellent.
And it went through. I may have written the novel anyway, even if that hadn't happened, because I love the idea, but it was so fun getting people involved in it.
And you did more than just get them involved via Kickstarter. You've got their input.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned
that's
to
exactly
me.
it. Yes. So I got their input, and so basically what it was is at certain levels you would get. There were backer rewards that let people have input into the story, and so one of the characters who you may or may not have run into yet in the book, Jonathan Johns.
Yes.
Okay. So So my uncle, actually, he pledged $100. So at that level, he could name a character. So he said, I think you should have a character in there who they call JoJo, who kind of fixes stuff and brings Anna things to make things with and stuff. And so I said, well, how about I make JoJo short for Jonathan Johns, which is a combination of my name and his. His name is John, and mine is Jonathan.
Oh, there you go.
So I did that, and then and so, but I'll tweak him a bit. So I made him smarter and handsomer and stuff in the book, rather than kind of this.
We get to embellish on our qualities.
Yes, and so rather than being very autistic, I made him more Asperger's. So he is pretty good socially, but awkward somewhat,
But also brilliant.
But also brilliant. Yeah. So I wanted him to be a little more socially able and not seem like the town guy who can't do anything but put things together.
The town recluse.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not disparaging anybody with autism. My son has autism. I understand it, and this is just what I wanted for this character.
Well, there's certain traits that all these things have.
Yes, and so those are his traits are more like that. So, so that's one of the things he got. This band from Santa Cruz, where I'm from originally.
Woo! Woo! Go Santa Cruz!
Yeah. I'm in Southern California, and it's so cold in here in my apartment right now that I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I haven't done do this in a long time. It's very weird.
Unusual chill factor coming in.
It is. I'm like, God, it's so cold. I'm wearing so many pairs of socks right now, too.
You used to, in Southern California, you used to always shorts, t-shirts all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. Or just shorts.
The weatherman has the most
shorts,
boring job down there.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, this band from Santa Cruz is called Coffee Zombie Collective, and they do mostly covers of pop songs from, I would say, the 80s forward.
Oh, so they're a real band.
They're a real band.
But you put them in your book.
Yes, because they pledged $100, and I said, okay, I'll put the band in the book, but I'll change the name to Whiskey Zombie Collective.
Right.
And so some of them are actually named by name in the book. So they get to be characters in the book too.
Excellent.
And the biggest one though, and I won't say his name right now because I'll put it in the afterword of the book.
No, very nice.
So when I kind of explain some of the things about how the book's put together. But one gentleman wrote to me and said, "Hey, if I pledge $500, can I be in the book?" And he's like, "I want to be a bounty hunter.
Ooh.
I've always wanted to be in like a story like this." And I'm like, "Okay."
Done.
And I can tell you the character name because there's a picture of him on my site, and so I did a 3D model of him, and he goes by LT Barone, which is the white-bellied shark, because because he was basically a white guy who grew up around a lot of Mexican people in this Wild West setting, and he was tough, so they called him LT Barone. And so he's the bounty hunter in there, and he actually fits into the story really, really well, and which was great because I knew basically what the story would be about because I had these characters. I knew how it kind of began, but I'm like, a lot of it is just really open, and I know I can do it, so I don't feel like I have to have a whole bunch of the book written before I go to Kickstarter.
Right, because you have experience having written fantasy novels before.
Yes.
So been there, done that.
Yes, I'm like, I can do this. And how about if I, let people have input into it? And so I was able to craft a story, incorporating all these extra things. And so
right.
So it's
that's a challenge.
Really, really fun. Yeah. So those were some of the really, really cool rewards that people got. And then and there's also, of course, people are going to get digital copies of the books, print copies.
Right.
Some people will get hardcovers. That's going to be like a very limited edition thing. It's going to be mostly for the people in doing that. And I think there may be a couple of other cases where I'll send hardcovers out. But yeah.
Excellent, but for the higher level, because you also have to make sure that your Kickstarter doesn't bankrupt you in shipping.
Yes, that's true, and I did count shipping in with the money, but that's true. It can be more than you expect. So I just sent out 2 of my books to a fan who wanted autographed copies, and it cost $12.65 just to send those 2 books.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It gets expensive.
It really does, yeah. So I got to make it.
Wait till you get European and British fans, then it gets expensive.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I think I had some of the rewards for them for overseas costs a little bit more to account for that.
Exactly.
It's like, and you can do that on Kickstarter, so that's pretty cool. So the story takes place in the Old West. It actually takes place in Santa Cruz, where I'm from.
Right what you know.
Right what you know. And the funny thing is, I thought, this is a completely fictional world. I can kind of, I can mostly do what I want. I can change history and stuff. So like in my world, I really in real life I really hate how Edison treated Tesla.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a horrible shame. So I'm like, I'm gonna fix that in this world. So Tesla is essentially discovered by somebody when he's young. and invents the light bulb way before Edison does. So it's 1876, and they've got the light bulb.
Nice.
Yeah, and Tesla is currently working for this one company. So, and it's like one of their big guys. So
he gets his due.
He gets his due. So I'm like, yeah.
Finally.
If you read the story, sometimes they'll be called Tesla bulbs, and that's why. So, like, fuck you, Edison. Excuse my language. I hope that's okay on the podcast.
If you've seen Epic Rap Battles on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
They have a very good Edison versus Tesla one.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. I watched that one over and over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a good one with, aside, there's a really good one with Weird Al, too, where he's Isaac Newton.
He plays Copernicus or something? Or
he plays Sir Isaac Newton.
Sir Isaac Newton, yes.
And that's also the one with... oh God, who's the scientist?
Bill Nye, the science guy.
I think Bill. Yeah, it's Bill Nye versus him, and then.
Oh right, the guy that's in the new Nova.
Yeah, the guy who did the new Cosmos. He's so awesome.
Yeah, Cosmos, right.
I can't believe I can't remember his name. He's awesome.
Yeah.
It'll come to me later. It's like one of those names I never.
As soon as we disconnect, you'll you'll blurt it out.
But
there it is.
So he's awesome. So he's the guy who did the new Cosmos. So then he comes in to the rap battle at the end to like help out Bill Nye.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a really good one. So, but so it takes place in Santa Cruz, and I've done some research on Santa Cruz back then, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to make it more like a Western version of Santa Cruz now. I think that would be fun if people from my home area could read this and go, oh, I know where he put that.
Ah, nice.
I know where that brothel is. I know that restaurant, So some actual businesses are in there with slightly different names.
Well, with but in
the same place.
Yeah. It fits because your story is an accelerated technology. They've got the light bulbs already in 1876 and everything. So the town would have built up faster than in the real world.
Now, they haven't had a lot of that technology for very long so far. They're basically in kind of like what we're in now. They're in a technology boom.
Right.
So, but I thought, you know what? It's a fictional world. I wanted to appeal to people currently there. Now, some things I do like look up, like was the municipal wharf there at that time in actual history, and the wharf was there, so I'm like, okay, I'll put the wharf there.
Keep that.
So I'll keep that. But if it wasn't, I probably would have said, okay, I won't do the wharf. But all the streets and stuff are actual real streets.
We will recognize them today.
Yes, so if you're from there, you'll recognize them. The Anna's Brothel is where I used to hang out at a Borders. that's where I placed the brothel. Yeah, so.
Borders became brothels.
Yeah, there's a really good steak restaurant, not just steak, but called the Hind Quarter, and I think I call it Cuarto Trasero. I think that's basically hind quarter in Spanish.
Nice.
And there's a version of it there. So yeah, so stuff like that.
So a very familiar setting for your story.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that people from Santa Cruz will really get into it. Because of that. You
need to get this book. Once the book is out, you should get it in all the bookstores there in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I got to call Bookshop Santa Cruz.
Reach out to them.
Hey, yeah, definitely. So those are some of the interesting things about the book, and I'm having. It's now that it's National Novel Writing Month.
Right, NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo. I went. You know what? They want you to do a brand new novel during this month. I'm still working on this one. It's been slow going. But I'm going to use this month for my own purposes,
Exactly.
I'm going to participate on NaNoWriMo. I'm
Take
saying
the fervor.
Yes, I'm saying I'm using this month to finish the first draft of this book.
Excellent. And you just hit a banner word count yesterday.
Yes, I hit 100,000 words yesterday.
Woo!
Last night. Yeah, that was awesome.
Envision confetti flying in the air.
Yeah. Well, since I hit like 78,000 words, every word I write is a record for story. So, yeah.
So you got a bodacious word count going,
I've got a bodacious word count. It's 100,065 words right now.
Excellent.
So, and I'm making sure that I add at least 1,700 words a day. And hopefully I'll get to the end of it. Hopefully.
Well, if you keep doing that, you will reach the end.
Oh, I'll reach the end. I'm kind of hoping I'll reach the end this month, because I don't know how much longer the story needs to be. Although a few days ago I did get to a point where I'm like, oh, that was the end of Act 2.
Uh-oh.
Good. Well, it's good. I'm on Act 3. I'm on the final act.
Yay, we're on the big final push.
Yes, and so I wrote down a list of here are the things that need to happen in the last act.
Excellent.
And I put them in order, and now I'm going through, and of course all these scenes get put in between, that need to be there. So we're in the big push, but there is an outline a basic outline that's getting filled in, and so it is very much leading toward the conclusion now. So.
Excellent. And so it sounds like you are an outliner, not a right into the dark pantser kind of guy. If you have your outline for it,
I have to be in it. I have to outline. Because but I also have to give my characters a lot of freedom to do what they would do. So I'm a flexible outliner. So what I did with this is I did a rough outline of what I thought the first act would be, a rougher outline of the second, and then a rougher outline of the second and third. But I know that things can change a lot just based on what the characters would and wouldn't do.
Right.
And so by the time I got to the second act, finished the first act, I had to change a bunch for the, second act, and then it's like, oh well, these things have got to happen for the third, so it's totally different by the time I get there.
Right, as the story
I looked
develops.
over my old outline and I went, this one thing kind of fits, nothing else really fits. So
throw everything else out.
That out. So but I do I learned very early on, think about what your characters want and what they'll do to get it. And
their motivation
and go from there. And I've been finding more and more, and maybe my brain is just working better with story structures or something, that what my characters want really makes the story more interesting than what I had thought of, and still keeps it going forward with the sorts of conflicts and stuff I want, and going toward the sort of resolution I want.
Excellent.
So it's I don't know, this whole thing's actually doing the Kickstarter kind of started off wanting to get input from people, and now I'm getting input from my characters too.
Yep, everyone's got their hand in there.
Yeah. But it's
helping
good.
You out.
I'm orchestrating all of it. I'm putting it all together and weaving it together.
Right, you changed it. Usually, writing is such a solitary thing where a writer sits down and goes, "I have this idea and I will make my vision." And you said, Let's get everyone involved.
Yeah,
let's
work together. It's still
here.
That at this point, it's like, give me your input. I will okay it or not. I think I did say in the Kickstarter, I have the right to veto it. If you give me, some goofy name like Trainee McTrainerson or something for a character, I'm not. Let's come up with something else. For a
let's be serious here, folks.
Yeah, let's be serious.
This is serious fiction.
But
our steampunk Western zombie is serious.
It is, though. It is. It's a lot of fun. So.
And so you also.
But I'm at the point where it's me. It's I've taken all the elements and they're coming through me. So I am at that solid. So I took it all in, and then I went solitary with it.
Exactly. Well, as a writing thing, it's really good for novels to do it, and especially having a single solitary vision, but you've got all your input of all your stuff, and I think that is just amazing.
Thank you. I'm not only an outliner though. I'm a outline at every stage outliner. So before I write a scene, what I do now is I put on Dragon Naturally Speaking.
Oh, very nice.
And I open up Microsoft Word and I talk about what I want to put in the scene.
Ah, so you're discovery.
Yeah, and so.
Well.
But I talk about, okay, this is what I want to happen in the scene. This person would do this, and then he went, oh, no, he wouldn't do that. No, he'd probably do this. Oh, but that works because this. And so I talk it all out before I actually write the scene, and then it makes this, not only does it make the scene easier to write because I've already come up with the most important parts.
Right.
It makes the scene right from the beginning.
Yes.
Rather than, I just did all this like prose and stuff, and that totally doesn't work with the story or with the characters. So I discover all that ahead of time. So it's kind of like I still write it twice. I maybe I'll talk out like 1,400 words and write like 2,000 words. So,
Right.
but it works. It works for me.
Right. You sit down by yourself in your room and basically
Yes.
workshop it.
Yeah, exactly. I workshop it for myself, and my son will be in here, hanging out. But it's just me doing thinking it all through, and workshopping it. So
what a great way to develop and build a story. I love that.
Thank you. So there's a book called, and I don't remember the author. I've tweeted her on Twitter. She's very cool. But it's easier enough to look her up. She got a book called 2,000 to 10,000.
Yes, I've gotten that. That's a good one.
And I read that and I was doing that with my first novel. She went into more detail and kind of helped me really. So, but the whole thing of write out what you think should be in the scene, plan it out before you write it.
Exactly.
And I was doing that after the first draft of my first novel. I completely rewrote it. I did a bottoms up rewrite. And before every scene, I took notes on what do the characters think, what would they do, and now I've expanded it to where I talk it out before I write it, and I often just dictate it when I write it too. So
Dragon's great. I used an iPod Touch and Siri to write 3 full complete novels.
That's awesome.
It was great. I was able to just sit back with my iPod Touch in my hand and boom.
Yeah, and I've heard that Siri's really good. That
Siri nails it. When she messes up big time, but it's very, very rare.
That's amazing.
Once she gets off, every word is off for that sentence.
Oh, wow.
But that happens maybe once every 4 hours.
Wow.
I get
a lot of weird stuff in Dragon, but it's enough that I know when I go back and read it, I'll figure it out. So I'm going to be heavily rewriting anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, my problem is when it gets really weird like that, and I'm trying to read it, I go, I have no idea what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Not a clue. It doesn't even fit with the rest of the story. I can't even sound it out and say, oh, here's what I was saying.
Yeah. Is that with Siri or with Dragon?
That was with Dragon.
Yeah.
So,
but it's what I've got. I don't have an iPod, so...
Yeah, and Dragon's good,
we have an iPad, actually. But my son usually plays on that. So
he's got it. He's co-opted it. It's gone.
Yeah.
You pretty much don't have one.
And it gets better progressively as you work on it, and you can add words to it and things.
Right, and retrain it constantly.
Yes. So after I usually will go about 1,000 words, then have it save my profile, and then start going again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
now you also on your website you have all sorts of things here, and you've got your blog, you got your link to your old blog, which I think is a really good look into the creative process you mentioned.
Yes, and that's. I definitely wanted to keep that there. What I decided, a few months ago, and you can actually, if you wanted, you could check the exact date by going to my blog, my current blog, and going to the first post there. I was using Blogger, and I just learned, if you can, it's better to have your blog on your site rather than
control.
Rather than a feed. Blogger's great. It's got a lot of great features, but I wanted to do that, keeping control, and so. When I discovered that I use Wix, and when I discovered they have their own blog, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this out. And then on the old blog, the last post says, this blog continues.
Yep.
In the new place. So
we've moved.
So it really is a continuation of that blog I've been keeping since 2010. So and these days, what I talk about. And so the old one, you can really see a look at the creative process of me coming up with all the characters for the demo reel, and it's specifically on modeling and making a demo reel.
Right, but
and I've done tutorial
your
videos,
process too.
But it's my process, And but now I do a lot of I'll talk about, of course, Bodacious Creed and stuff on my blog. I'll share just various cool steampunk things I run across. And I've been interviewing some very interesting people for my blog.
Oh, excellent.
Too, which is a lot of fun, So I started off with Steamy Leia. Do you know who that is?
No, I haven't.
Oh, she's really cool. She's part of a group called the Star Wars Steampunk Universe.
Oh, neat.
Yes, and there's
what a great mashup.
There's a pretty big group of them who do Star Wars steampunk cosplay, and she does Steamy Leia. So that is steamy because steampunk. She's also gorgeous, you know. So she originally had like a really cool slave Leia outfit she did, but steampunked out.
Oh, nice.
And now she's got another one added to it that is closer to the look that Leia had in the beginning of A New Hope.
Oh, okay.
But sexier. And then her boyfriend is Baron von Maul, and so I interviewed him as well.
Nice.
And this guy named Nathan Seekerman, and his character is Captain Nathan Solo Seekerman, so he's kind of their Han Solo type. And then Dude Vader is another one.
Dude Vader.
He wears like a gold suit, and his idea was, I want to do Darth Vader after Luke, as if he lived after he came back to the good side, and moved to the beach and surfs a lot. it's really cool, and so I interviewed them all on there. When Steampunked came out, I noticed that some of my other steampunk friends on Facebook were friends with some of the people from Steampunked.
Oh, nice.
And I went, I should reach out. That's cool. You know, I'll reach out to them and ask for some interviews. So I interviewed James Nethery and Ave Rose, and have a couple more of those interviews coming.
Excellent. And these are interviews on your blog, all in text and pictures, right?
Yes, those are interviews on my blog too. And
you're also going to be starting something new, mostly steampunk.
I hope.
You hope.
Podcast.
Oh,
yes.
You can do this.
I want to do it. This month I'm so busy with Nano that we're probably looking after November.
So coming in 2025, yes. The Mostly Steampunk podcast.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So and I'm kind of branding everything with a similar name. So because I mostly talk about steampunk on my blog.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll call it the Mostly Steampunk blog. So I think the other things on there are things that are of interest to people who are into steampunk as well. You know, I'm sure a lot of steampunks like Game of Thrones, and I'll talk about Game of Thrones sometimes, or just Star Wars in general, or things like that, or writing in general. If I have some writing tips I want to share with people,
right, and things that interest you are going to interest other people.
Yes, and then I decided I'll call the newsletter the Mostly Steampunk newsletter. And then so the podcast is the Mostly Steampunk podcast with Jonathan Fesmire. So.
Excellent. And your newsletter is basically your mailing list on your website.
Yes.
The Mostly Steampunk newsletter. And even if you don't like steampunk, it's only mostly steampunk.
Yeah, it's only mostly.
We talk about other things.
Yeah.
So, and you have a link on your website to sign up for your newsletter so that people can find out about more stuff. What do you have for people who sign up for your newsletter?
When I started it off, it was I didn't really have any extra things to share, so it was like, I'm going to put something extra in each newsletter, some extra bit of news or something that I don't put in the blog.
Oh, very nice. So they get something more.
And so I did that at first. I'm still doing that a little bit, but since I've actually got some really cool extras, I basically said, I think in one newsletter, something to the effect of, it's kind of exhausting coming up with all these extras for every newsletter when I'm already writing the blog and writing the newsletter and writing, and I have a full-time job as a copywriter. So I said, so I'll still kind of do that, but you're getting something even better now. So at first I put out a collection of fantasy short stories I called it Legends of Years Gone By, because they're stories that I wrote between 1995 and 1999 or 2000.
Oh, wow.
And these were in my anthology Seeds of Vision, which I recently took out of print.
Oh, okay. So I can't get it now if I go looking for it.
You might be able to get it by a used copy or something. But
right,
yeah. But
they're always floating around.
Yeah. So I and part of it is that, it's my older stuff. It's like, okay, here's some stories that, people, it don't really fit as much with my brand now. I don't need people to be reading this. A lot of these were, in a way, my practice stories. Although quite a few of them got published in the kind of lower paying zines, and one actually got published in Marion Zimmer Bradley's fantasy magazine.
Excellent.
Although that one's not in Legends. I forgot why. I don't know. I think I just didn't see it in the file, so I didn't put it in there. So I think there are 8 stories in there. It's 80 some odd pages.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was so I got that one together. That was the first one, and I was working on the Obstructed Engine, and
And that's your short story
that's
prequel to Bodacious Creed.
that's a prequel to Bodacious Creed, and it's about 5,500 words. Um, and it's a story that has been in my mind for the last couple of years, the basics of it, but I didn't have it all figured out. So recently I'm like, I gotta do this story based on on this situation and how and I don't want to give anything away, but
Yeah,
so
no spoilers.
no spoilers. So but based on these important characters, and so I finally, got it together and took notes on it and went, okay, this is pretty good. So I wrote that, asked a bunch of asked just did a general Facebook post to friends saying, hey, I've got this story. I would really like some from first readers. Hit me up and you can read it and and give me comments. And so a bunch of my friends, 8 people said they wanted to read it.
Wow.
So that was really cool. And
Yeah,
so
my friends don't want to read anything I write.
I'm like, okay, that's fun. Like, okay, that's great. So I'm like, let me do one more revision of it. So I went through, did one more, revision, and then sent it out to all of them. Only one of them got too busy to be able to do it, so 7 people got back to me with their comments. Yeah, she felt bad about it, but I told her it's cool. Don't worry about it. I understand people get busy. I got what I need. I'm good. So, so I used their comments, and of course they found a bunch of the little spelling mistakes and stuff that we authors have a hard time seeing ourselves because we're so close to the story. And so that helped. So we got all that in there, and I'm like, okay, it's ready to go. Published it, let the newsletter know, hey everybody, you can read the story now. Share it on Facebook. I've got this free steampunk story that's a prequel to my book, and so you sign up for my newsletter and you'll get it for free. So people have been doing that.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun with that story. I I did ask my friends too, what do you think for a title? Nobody came up with The Obstructed Engine. I came up with that myself, and it's got one obvious meaning in it, but I think there are a couple other things that
I bumped into the obvious
reflected.
meaning.
Yeah, the obvious one you get to after the second scene, I think. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and also in the newsletter, the main thing I do in the newsletter is let people know when there's a new blog post out, and say something about that. So, yeah. Wonderful. And at the end, usually I usually have just a little blurb. Hey, if you like this, you might like my fantasy books, and you can get them here.
Right. So you wrote fantasy novels early on.
Yes.
What made you transition over to steampunk? And now you seem to have adopted that to where that's mostly your
That's
focus.
Mostly what I want to write. Yeah.
So what made you transition over to say I want to do steampunk now?
I think it's kind of complicated, and some of it may be a little private. But I need to be very, very rational for my own sanity.
Haha.
And it's kind of out there anyway. I have OCD, and
yeah, I can't leave my volume on anything at an odd number.
Okay, yeah. So
I can't. I try.
Everybody's got a little bit of that.
10 seconds later, it goes to 14 or 16. It can't be at 15. It can't.
Yeah.
So I'm there with you.
So yeah, everybody gets it a little bit. I mean, the thing with OCD is that you get an intrusive thought, and everybody gets intrusive thoughts, and where most people are able to go, that's stupid, and let it go. People with OCD have a really tough time letting it go,
we can't.
And you need, and most people with OCD, me included, need medication, a really good selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and then once you've got that, you can start doing the therapy to learn the strategies to do that. But one of the things with OCD as well is that magical thinking, and I'm not saying the people who write fantasy naturally are like automatically are magical thinking about the real world,
Right.
but things like magical thinking and phrases like, well, there's a reason for everything, or there are no coincidences.
Right.
Those kind of things for me can be very upsetting, and it's hard to explain why, but let's just leave it at that. So
That's fine.
I became I had to become very, very rational about everything, and for me and it's like, oh, well, this is probably how I would have been thinking anyway if I hadn't heard all these platitudes and things, growing up, and it just kind of, that anxiety just went, and because I think about everything rationally instead of obsessing about it, and I'm honest with myself about things. It's like, well, what, like just as an example, well, what if I get in a car crash? It's like, well, that could happen,
Right.
but it's really unlikely. I'm not going to worry about it. It is so unlikely. I'll just
Don't let it dominate your life.
Yeah, you don't let it dominate your life. You don't, So those are just simple examples, but I think that's part of it. And so I wanted to write, and so that, and I obviously I've always liked science fiction as well as fantasy, but that got me to go, I really want to write stuff that has more of a rational bent. And so there's nothing in Bodacious Creed I would call supernatural. There are different laws of science because it's a steampunk world.
Right.
So there are, so it's actually possible for steam to produce enough power for, things, which is, and the luminiferous ether actually exists, and it has certain, you'll read in the story, it has certain properties,
right,
in my world that maybe it doesn't in other writers' worlds, and it has some serious implications for the world that I explore in the book, and I'll probably explore even more in the sequel. But everything is kind of based on these things happening in a rational manner.
Excellent. And I really like how you said...
And I just love the steampunk aesthetic, too.
Yeah, steampunk is great, and I like how
cool.
You said it in the west coast of America, not in London.
Yes. Yeah. There is Western steampunk, to the Lindsay Sterling Roundtable Rival.
Right,
for example,
video.
Is a great example. Wild Wild West is another example. So it's probably the second most used steampunk setting.
The American Wild West.
The American Wild West, yeah. But it was fun putting it way on the West Coast in Santa Cruz. And then doing the zombie element has been a lot of fun, and just that it's my own,
punch it up a notch.
Yes, punch it up a notch, and it's just my own take on a Wild West steampunk setting.
Excellent.
So, yeah,
Excellent.
It's so fun. But yeah, that's one of the great things about steampunk too, is that it really can be anywhere in the world during that time frame. You figure the technology's there. It's going to be used at least in other developed nations too.
Right. And for my series, the Steampunk Wizard of Oz, I set it in Australia.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's all over the place. It was just an era, not a location.
One of the girls I interviewed, the young ladies I interviewed, Ariel Dixon, does a Bollywood steampunk cosplay. Nice. So India, anywhere in Asia, you can have steampunk samurai, and it's just such an open. It's so many possibilities.
Steam samurai sword. Okay, the ideas are flowing now.
I know.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I have covered all the questions that I had. Before we go ahead and shut down the interview, is there anything that you'd like people who are watching, potential readers, future readers of Bodacious Creed or any of your other steampunk stuff, anything you'd like them to know?
Wow, I covered a lot.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
This was a good interview.
That was a lot of fun. Just because I'm writing steampunk now doesn't mean my other books aren't good. So, I would really like for more people to read my fantasy novels because I think they're quite good. One of them, Tam Shizemp, actually I got a quote from James Clemens about it. He also goes by James Rollins for some of his books. He's a very
I love James. He's the guy that made me
cool.
sit down to write some thrillers.
Oh, he's such a cool guy.
I met him at Thriller Fest 2011.
Yeah, I met him,
and that was so nice.
In '99 or 2000 at a World Fantasy Con. So whenever it was in Rhode Island. So he's super cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
That was why. And I said, hey, would you give me a quote for this? And he's like, well, send me the book. And so I did, and he gave me a great quote.
A nice blurb. Excellent.
Yeah, nice blurb. Also, when I was looking for an agent for it at one point. This is Tam Shizemp. And a funny story. I'm friends with Stephen Seville, and he said, you should send the book to my agent. So, and he told his agent about me and said, expect this book. And then maybe a month later, he had a conversation with his agent and said, have you read my friend's book? And he's like, well, we haven't gotten to it, but my first reader, we're thinking of signing somebody. My first reader read this book, Tam Shizemp, and just said it was the best fantasy, or most original fantasy novel she had read in a long time.
Nice.
He's like, that's my friend. So this is really funny, yeah. So, but they weren't able to sell it because it's 67,000 words long. And everybody wants like 80,000.
Right. They've got their prescribed thing that they do.
Yeah. And that's a really nice thing about self-publishing is that you can go, you know what? This is a 67,000 word story. It doesn't need any filler. The
story's done.
It's done. This is the story. So, Bodacious Creed is a much longer story. But yeah.
You've already hit the 100,000 word and you're just finished scene 2.
Yeah, Act 2. Yeah. I'm like, done. Wow. So yeah, I mean, so my first two books are called Children of Rotland and Tam Shizemp. But mostly, just so if you want to really keep up with my blogs and with, even the podcasts that I plan to do and everything I do, everything's centralized on my website, and all the news. And I write a ton of stuff on my blog, and the news about the blog goes out on the newsletter. Plus, you get the first day or immediately you get to download the Obstructed Engine, and 3 days later you get to download Legends of Years Gone By. So the newsletter is just a good deal for everybody. I'm just trying to create a win-win situation for everyone. I'm getting my name out there by being helpful and entertaining and sharing.
Excellent. You're doing a good job of it.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
And so for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I have the links down below. So I've got John's all his books on Amazon. I have the link for that. I have his website, his Facebook, his Twitter, his Goodreads, and his blog, as well as his YouTube link there. So as he develops, and so sign up for his newsletter so that you know when he gets his Mostly Steampunk podcast going. You can watch it on YouTube. But I've got the link there now, so you can go and subscribe to that channel as well.
Thank you. And the intro is up there now. You probably saw that.
I saw the whiteboard intro.
Yeah. I shared the whiteboard intro that I planned to have, at the beginning of everything, and then after it has my name and it goes into the drawing of all the gears, that's the part where it'll have other people's names in the title and things superimposed.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. Yes, I like the whiteboard intro. That was very nice.
Yeah, I really like that style, and I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this, and I got it done. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so very much, John, for joining us here on ODNT and letting us shine the spotlight on you and your work.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
All right, so don't hang up on me just yet. I'm going to go ahead and close the interview down. I'll be right back to you.
Sounds great.
So that was Jonathan Fesmire and Bodacious Creed, which is his steampunk zombie western that will be coming out sometime next year. He has already hit the 100,000 word mark on it, so he's going good. He wants to get this thing finished up this year and everything. And definitely sign up for his mailing list, his Mostly Steampunk newsletter. And if you're watching this embedded in another website, just click the little button over here that says watch on YouTube. And then for that, you can see all the description down below, and I have the links to everything. So once again, that was Jonathan Fesmire. We had a lot of fun chatting with him about steampunk, mostly steampunk. We talked about a lot of other stuff too. So once again, my name is Steve DeWinter, your host here for ODNT Spotlight. Join the ODN team and subscribe to this channel. We have many more authors, artists, actors, musicians, all sorts of people coming on the show. So thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.